Am I live yet? I should be popping up here. Hopefully. Good. Good evening, everybody. Just wanted to hop on here and have a good, fun New Year's Eve celebration and have a exciting announcement set to make at some point tonight. Um, so just waiting for people to kind of hop on in and get this started. So Dr. Donna Walter, as always, you're almost always on every stream. Jason, good to see you. I have YouTube open on the side here because there's a delay between StreamYard and YouTube. And so if I don't, that's going to cause problems. And this is also an open stream. So basically, anybody who wants to hop on with me, just hit me up on Twitter at Michael Pepper TT, and I'll send you the link. So I kind of did my 2019 Tech of the Year stream on Sunday, but um, since then, I know there's some things that have come up and some topics and of discussion that have come up. I know, like the issue with TechSmart, which at this point we all just it's kind of a a we don't really know for sure. We have the evidence that we have, but until he comes out and says something or he gets shut down, we can only make assumptions, and I'm careful to not insinuate anything that might get me in trouble either. And so there's that. But one thing I did kind of want to get into talking about was um, the other night, Apple Watches were brought up in how they help with the health community and things like that. And one of the things that has been crucial for me is heart rate monitoring, not having to shell out thousands and thousands of dollars for fancy equipment. I can do an ECG or just check my heart rate, my pulse at any given time, and the convenience of that is very, very, very nice. So, um, for me, health advancement in smartphones, watches, things like that, AI is a crucial thing that I would like to see coming up in 2020. In particular, maybe our phones, we're looking at them and they can sense and say, hey, your heart rate's, you're looking a little flush. Combine that with your heart rate. You need to get some water or, eat something with sugar or whatever, your blood sugar is off, your pulse is out of whack. You might pass out, sit down, things like that. Um, Preemptive technology is supposed to, oh, you passed out. We're going to call 911, something that monitors. And that can be anonymous. It doesn't have to be, oh, we know who you are. It can be device side only. It doesn't send it to anybody. It just knows based on what it's picked up on. Also, um, basically the only tech related thing I got for Christmas were the Soundcore Liberty 2s that I recommend everybody check out. Those are the pros. They're both back up to basically normal price now. And when I got them, they were $40 off, so that was a good deal. And so what else? Oh, some people may have seen on Twitter me following you from another channel name, and that has to do with sort of my announcement that I'm going to make. And I'd hope to get more people on here before I do that, but um, I guess I can kind of talk about it now. So, um, if anybody on here doesn't know who Joan is, go check out Joan's channel. I can actually grab a link real quick here for her channel, and I'll put it in the chat, and I'll also put it in the description when I'm done here. Joan McCullough. She does a lot of audio related stuff, and that's where I ended up getting the idea of checking out these. So another shout out to her. And also, she and I kind of chatted back and forth privately on the phone and via message, and learning a little bit about her and that her history with photography was awesome because I also have that same history and have been kind of failed by that. And she has been very open about how she really wanted to do that. She bought all the stuff and then it just didn't work out. Clients wouldn't come to her, things like that. So, on that note, I have decided that I am going to be starting another channel on here, and I'll have a separate Twitter page and my Facebook page as well. So, I'm going to be starting a photography related channel where I'll show off some of my images and also getting into videography and sound and things like that because I feel like even though that is tech related, I want to put that on a separate channel and just kind of show what I'm capable of doing. And also, it's a little bit experiment to see which direction suits me better, which focus people s- prefer coming from me. Um, but my tech channel, my streams, things like that will always be here. But I want to do both and just kind of show what you're capable of doing because as creators, we are editors, we are actors, we are um, interviewers, we are everything. And to be able to use the photographic side, not only on here for products and things like that, and image shots and things like that, but for a more in-depth purpose, I feel like that needs to be a separate channel. So that's kind of my announcement with that. So anybody who's subscribed on here, please also go check out. Um, it's actually in the description of this stream, and it will be in every video from now on. Check out Michael Pepper Photography, and also check out MP Photography 20 on Twitter. That is my other channel page. So if you can follow me over there and also subscribe and all that on my other channel, it'd be greatly appreciated. There actually is a video that I shot earlier today. It took about between shooting and editing, it was about 4 hours of work. So I put a lot into it, putting the clips together, slowing scenes down, speeding scenes up, adding in sound effects, adding in um, background effects, things like that. So I just hope that I can get a good following over there too, and I can get some artistic outlet in a different direction because I know YouTube likes consistency. And so I didn't want to bring that just to this channel because I did do a video a while back. It was kind of a short film to see how well that would do, and it didn't do very well on here. So I'm hoping maybe having a separate entity for that will do well. So again, thank you as well to um, people who have kind of been motivational in this year and listening to these podcasts and these streams at the end of the year and watching and stuff. has greatly shown and answered a lot of these questions as far as do I do it all on this channel or create a separate channel? And I know that there are a lot of creators out there that have other channels. I know that Jay Williams has his main channel, and then he has his car auto channel. I know that Eric from Easy Computer Solutions has his main channel, but he also is a baker and he does things on the side like that. I know there's a lot of higher up creators who they do this, but they also do other things. So for me, splitting off and doing another channel and having that be photography related is also kind of my portfolio. So I can go to somebody and say, "Hey, I'm a creator, but this is what I do with it." And I sit in front of people, once a week, at least once a week, and talk. And, this is not easy and it can come off as boring to some people, but, you know, to people who think it's easy or who think it's boring, I say, you give it a try, you see how easy it is. And it's been fun. It's been a great journey. I've gotten connected with a lot of people, and I'm hoping that 2020 will bring more of a connection with that, um, and hopefully hit the 1,000 subs and the 4,000 hour mark and be able to become monetized. That's my goal for next year. And also to kind of have the guts to reach out to more companies and to say, hey, you know, I know I'm not that large of a channel, but I can provide a different insight. I'm always honest. And, will you work with me sort of thing? Because that's been one of my struggles of doing this is do I reach out? Do I um, wait for them? What do I do? And as far as I found out, no, I'm not going to just sit by. You don't wait. You can't wait for them because most of these don't know we're here unless you are a larger creator and put on the recommended page. And it's been interesting because I've had people come to my channel for things having nothing to do with what I talk about. They're coming from like a gaming channel or coming from an art channel or things like that. And I think it's kind of cool. And part of it, I think, is because a lot of what I do cover in my videos on here is image related. And so my tags probably bring people in and things like that. So, um, that's kind of the direction I'm looking to go with that channel. And then with this channel, um, I want to get more into not only hardware discussion and software discussion, but discussions of ethics when it comes to privacy in the tech world, news stories, weekly news stories, things like that. I know there's other channels that do that, but in a different perspective from the idea of someone who doesn't, that isn't necessarily their job, someone that's the everyday kind of citizen, I guess you could put it as the average consumer sort of thing. Being able to discuss privacy is a huge deal to me. And also being able to discuss the news and things like that is motivational. So I'm hoping that goes well. And yeah, anytime, let's see, any, hmm, gotta check something real quick. Anytime, yeah, let's see here. Anytime you're creating and putting yourself out there in the public eye, it's very difficult. It's true. S- So I can be a pretty vocal person. I can be a pretty forward person. I can be a very blunt person. I can be a very subjective person. And um, being able to do that on my own channel is great, and being invited onto other channels is been awesome. So, my goal for 2020 as well is to get more people on my channel. So one thing I wanna do, and I've talked to a couple of people about it, just timing hasn't been right yet, is to have people come on here and interview them and ask them the questions and get a different perspective, whether it's another creator or someone who doesn't know if they want to make the step. Um, Maybe a subscriber, maybe anybody, just to give them the opportunity and not have it be like, well, you're here because you're here to do a certain task or you're here because of your position. Just anybody can come on and talk. Speaking of, Dr. Donna Walter, you're back. Um, if you ever um, want to, the offer is open for you to jump on with me. I know you talked about kind of trying to figure that out and um, having the right equipment and things like that, but just use what you have, and you're always welcome to come on here, even if it's just for the purposes of testing to see if your audio is good or whatever. Join me. You always have a lot to say, and I think it would be great to interact in that face to face versus textual form. So you're more than welcome. Jason, you're more than welcome. Uh, Anybody, whether you're in the tech space, the art space, whatever, um, to be able to um, talk things back and forth. Those of us who know what we want to do, what do you mean? Um, what do you mean by that? Um, so for me, it's not that I don't know what I want to do, because I know what I want to do. Like that's why I know that I want to keep this kind of tech related, but also bring on other creators. And I want my other channel to be more of the photography, videography, and the output, not necessarily the behind the scenes of that, because that would be over here. The other channel would be more focused on the output. So I can pull up that channel and say, hey, this is the videos, this is the photos that I create, and get that out to anybody who is willing to come on. That's funny. You can always, come on. You don't have to show your face. StreamYard, if you don't want to, you can actually um, just do audio only. Oh, okay, yeah. People who either want to do or know what they want to do. Yeah, some people are more set in knowing this is exactly where I want to go. So there's no reason to be self conscious. There's no judgment here. Also, I understand being shy. I was just saying that's an open invitation if you ever wanna jump on, um, hit me up. Our interactions have been great on there, and I appreciate that, you're on, enjoying this with me tonight, and I appreciate the interactions and the support and things like that. So, basically, what would happen is I'd send you the link, and, um, when it comes into StreamYard, you just click, um, like, the hide camera, and basically, it will just put a circle up so you just have the audio only. So, I can send you the link, and you can definitely come on if you want. Just let me know. I don't no pressure. Just so Yeah, they do become available to the whole world, but there's also the idea that, like, I can, um, you know, if you make a video, you put it out there and you don't like how it turns out, you can make it private, you can delete it. And yeah, people can have downloaded it and things like that. So, how would I send the link? I'd send it to your Twitter, um, if that works, and then you just click on it and it would open in Chrome and you go from there. Hey, Art Dog, how's it going? Oh, high tech redneck. Hey, um, I was just kind of talking about where the direction of this channel is going, and I announced a bit ago that I'm going to be also doing a separate channel. And I have a separate Twitter as well. That's Michael Pepper Photography. My Twitter is at Michael or at MP Photography 20 for that one. And basically, that channel and that direction is going to be for um my photography and video side because I really want to get into doing short films and things like that. And so I've been experimenting with it, and actually there's a video on there already. Um and my major when I went to college was actually photography. Well, technically they call it photographic imaging. So photography and a lot of that carries over to video with lighting and things like that. And I've been getting more into the audio side, both with headphones and my new microphone and everything. So the advantage of having a separate channel is that that can kind of be my directive over there, my portfolio. It's separate. So anybody who's looking for that knows to go there. Anybody who's looking for tech knows to go here. It can divulge where, or diverge, I should say, where I can show kind of the background side of shooting things here and then have the outcome over there. So, I mean, I could have it he the background of how I shot here, and then obviously the final results I could link over there or show like a little bits and pieces of here. So, did you see the film that I did a while back? It was all like black and white style. I did some slow-mo in there. Also, the one I did today is called A Winter Walk, and I posted it on my new channel. So if you want to go check that out, um, it's actually in the description. The channel is. Um, so it's just simple. It's Michael Pepper Photography. You won't know that it's me because my face isn't on there, but I can actually show you real quick. Um, the I'll show you what the channel looks like. Um, yes, Dr. Donald Walter, the one in my backyard. I did that. It was real fun to walk around and things like that. Um, I'll put link to my other channel in the. So there's a link to my other channel if you want to check that out. So the one short film is on here, and um, that one I did. Let's see here. I did that one about a month ago, and that one was yes. So on my other channel, Winter Walk, basically, it's this idea of me opening my door, walking out, and kind of opening and closing the car door, because I know a lot of people do that. They'll see snow on there, so they open and slam the door, and then the snow falls down, and then you see me walk away, and I kind of walk down the sidewalk. And then there's this next scene of this water dripping, because it's kind of what I looked over and saw, this water dripping on the side of the house. And then it continues kind of backwards from that and back into the house, backing up, played in reverse, and taking my boots off. And I used some fun sound effects in there for like the water dripping on the icicles sounds like pouring pop into a glass and that bubbling and fizzling. And me taking off my boots sounds like a can opening. It's like a for each, and just enjoying the kind of funny, humorous side of it. So the Winter Walk is on the new channel. The other one I was talking about is on this channel. I might actually take it down from this channel, move it over to the other channel, but we'll see. So, Dr. Donna, let me send you the link here. Invite. Copy. You were on my page at one point. There you are. Okay. Thanks, High Tech Redneck. I really appreciate it. Like I said, it was a lot of work. It took me about half of today to do that video, so let's see. Trying to figure out which one it comes in on. It comes in at your NATUROPA naturopath doc one. So for me, short films are incredible because the idea that you can say a lot without actually saying anything at all um is quite something, just with images and movement. and change in time, and then sounds add to that, but even without them, just in silence, you can say a lot. Like, my ultimate goal someday would be to be able to make, like, high, um, high dollar, quiet, silent films. Basically, create films that sell out theaters without having to say anything. Bring back those silent films would be awesome because I know it's possible. There's art pieces that sell for tens of millions of dollars that people look at, and that's just a still. So the idea of movement is awesome, and not necessarily having it just be all silence, but scores and things like that. Where that's the idea of music being added t- is just awesome to me. Yeah, they are a lot tougher to shoot than people think because you have all the bits and pieces and like changes of scenery and things like that, and you have to fit a lot into a short amount of time. I mean, a minute and a half, and I went through like 9 different scenes. It's actually 7 different videos, and then I clipped some of them apart to change the motion and change the speed of time and things like that. So the ability to do that is amazing. And it was all just shot on my smartphone, and I took it in on the computer and added in my sound effects and things like that. And to create the sound effects too, that takes time, and to add in um and piece the clips and adjust the speed and get that precision down so that the sound effects line up with the visuals was awesome. If you didn't find it, you can always, DM me from another Twitter. You should be able to, so I wish there wasn't such a delay in StreamYard. That's one thing that gets me. Like, that's my ultimate goal, though, is, like I said, is to be able to bring art back in a way that, um, isn't really found too much anymore, would be incredible. I would love to be able to just be one of the first to say say that I brought that, and just starting out at this would be awesome. So, if this is who I think it is, welcome.
Okay, so can you see me? No. All right.
No,
Oh, good. You got the white circle.
yeah.
That
Also,
worked. Can
you
you
can,
hear me?
yeah, I can hear you perfectly fine.
Okay.
So you can actually add like a oh, what do they call it? You can add an image to that. Um, but that's a later discussion. I don't want to get you lost on here, but you can add like a picture or whatever to that by clicking on it.
Oh,
But um,
oh, I see. It
so
does something weird when I do. Okay. Oops. Oop, I don't
because
want to
for
do
example,
that.
I
Oh,
have this image when I stop mine. So
okay. Yeah, I'd have to find an image.
so
Yours looks nice.
yeah,
Sure.
that was all shot. That's actually my closet in the background.
Show me that again.
So in the background on each side of me is that's a blanket on the side and behind, and actually I've moved that since to cover the wall, but it's a closet. So what I found out is when I'm having to work in the small space like that by um
Like
blankets in the back, it stops the reverberation and acts as a cheap sound booth. So
okay, all right, that makes sense. That's the one thing I don't have. I have a white. Remember, are you old enough to remember the old home movies you'd watch and the big old projector screen you'd pull up and then you'd roll
oh
it down?
yeah.
I have one of those. It's not the same, but otherwise, I don't have a place that I could record at that people aren't going to see. I mean, you've got a bookcase behind you that looks decent.
Yeah, so my difficulty is that we live with my parents, so most of the time I stream upstairs for silence and to not bother them and things like that.
Okay.
And also just it gives me a space to leave something set up. So I really want to do is find I actually saw this idea where basically um you take some towels and you build a frame and you put the towels on the inside and then you wrap a towel around the outside of the frame to make a noise dampening pad that you can hang up on the wall. So my idea was to take that same idea, but find like a canvas print and put it on it, so it'd be an art piece as well, and put that behind me. So
I think I saw somebody do something like that when they had like a rope or something, and then they hung it up on the wall on each end. Hi, Art Dog.
yes, it is her. I am blessed to be only the second person to actually get your voice on a stream.
Yeah, I don't think. Yeah, and I haven't done any videos yet, but I know what I want to do.
So talk to us about that. What do you want to do?
Oops, I suppose I got to turn that down. Um, I want to go down to the Capitol and make videos down there when it's in session and people are voting on bills and or in committee and things. I don't think people know what their legislators do. So I'd like to give them a kind of a this is what it looks like and this is what they're actually voting on and this is what that means. Maybe it would be boring to some people, but it actually is exciting to me.
Well, as someone who lives in the era that I do, but understands the importance of um, public relations and public information being brought out and how important that was to situations like Vietnam, where incidences like that hadn't been aired before and we were kind of blinded to it. I think it's a great thing to do.
I was actually alive.
So, my dad actually protested during Vietnam and got kicked out of MSU for it. So,
Uh,
but
Woodstock was going on then too.
yes, it was. I had a instructor who, um, actually, she was only like 16, 17 years old at the time, and she ran away with this like 40-year-old guy to go to Woodstock.
I bet he gets in trouble when they got back.
Um, no, because it was a friend of her uncle's or something, and they knew about it, but like it would, any more that would be a huge no-no. It wouldn't matter if there was any inappropriate relationship, people would just be judgmental about it. But yeah, she skipped school and headed out. So I think it
Yeah,
would be a great thing to do. And I mean, as you know, and I know, there is a great community of people out there that will help you with every little detail. They'll help you, they'll answer questions. I'm always up to help, so
Yeah, because the more I learn, the more I find that I do not know.
because if you think that, I know you've talked about age and things like that before and talking about, and what's amazing to me is there's actually I think she's like 83 years old lady who um got into gaming, and she has her own channel, and she has like um I think like over 100,000 followers, and she has a bunch of on Twitter, I should say. She has like 100,000. She has a bunch of subs, and like um one of her followers is like this 25-year-old guy who's the same age as her grandson, and like they've gotten together and things like that. So to me, it's amazing, it's never too late to get started, and that's what I think is incredible because I'll be 30 in March. And for some people, they would say that's a late start. Like, there are a lot of these creators that got started when they were in high school.
Oh, my son is in his 40s.
Yeah. My oldest brother just turned 44 in October, so there's a huge difference, about 15 and a half years between us. So.
Wow. Okay.
And then, well, I have two other siblings between there, so. But
So go ahead.
You said something about you had gotten a phone. You got was it the Axon 10 Pro?
Yeah.
And you had issues with it. What was that all about?
At first it started pixelating. So it would, I think that's the right word, where things just started running together, and they look like little tiny squares. Um, I I don't know if that's the right word to what it was doing, but it was losing the form of like the person or whatever it was that was on the screen, and then it started getting worse. I have to hard restart it several times a day. I still have the phone. We haven't finished our conversation because Jay Williams, it was through because of him that I actually went and looked at it and bought it because um, I had the Axon. If you had an Axon 7, you got an extra $100 off of it, so I picked it up. But they want me to pay $600 plus 101 before they'll even. I said I don't want this refurbished. I just want a new phone. I already know what this is like to mess around with a phone that has. Oh, it'll lay on the table and it'll switch screens all by itself. That's
That's weird. That sounds like it's been like it sounds like it's been tampered with, like almost as if somebody like hacked into it or something. It's
yeah.
weird.
That's why I don't want this phone. I don't want a refurbished phone. And Jay Will said, just get your money back. He says they're not supporting their phones apparently.
Where did you get it through?
Um, let's see, ZTE USA.
Oh, you got it right through them? That's surprising then that they're just like basically trying to, for a lighter way, screw you over on it.
Yeah, and he says, well, the $101 is for the screen. I says, there's nothing wrong with the screen. I mean, the phone's in physically immaculate. I mean, I still have the box, for goodness sakes, and you can probably have an engineering background too. And the box still has the plastic wrap on it. It just opened it enough to open the top. I have all the little plastic pieces and wraps and everything.
It
Why
sounds
do
like to me it was like they were trying to claim that there was some wiring dislodged and they were just going to replace the screen. Well, if it's an issue like that, I would think that that should be under warranty, especially within that short amount of time, and they should just either have to replace the screen or give you a new phone for nothing.
Well, that's what I wanted. Was just give me. They said, well, we'll send you like a loaner phone, and you can send that back, and we'll fix it, and then we'll send it back, and you can just keep the loaner phone. I says, I don't want a loaner phone. Just give me a new phone, and then you can have this one back. And so, well, then we need. And I said, I didn't pay $599 for it. I paid $499. Why should I pay? Give you upfront $599 plus 101, and there's no guarantee that they. So I've talked to Jay Wills and the credit card company, and I have a counter offer for them that they can send me the new phone. They can have my credit card, but they better not run it because I'll can't. My credit card company has been informed of this whole thing too, so um, they don't get to run my credit card until such time as I think 25 or 30 days after I'll mail them back the old phone within 25 or 30 days. And if it doesn't get mailed back, then they can charge my card.
See, I don't even think that they should have to have your card because to me, a reputable company would just be like, well, technically, you've already paid us. So they already have money. It's not like you're requesting a refund and then they're going to send you a different product and then they're going to charge you. They already have the money for the
Yes.
exact product. I get that, like, then you'd have two of them if you didn't send it back. But to me, that's more of a, uh, you shouldn't have to be worrying about this to begin with.
Yeah, that's kind of what I thought. And
Well,
go ahead.
trust me, when I say this, that this incident will probably do more harm to them than helpful because now anybody who listens to this knows. And also, I have a buddy of mine in the tech industry who I might talk to because he's let's say in with ZTE, so
Yeah, and I'd
I'll
like
let him
to
know.
have, I've, I think the phone might be a good phone. I just got a piece of crap. Well, can we say that on YouTube? Or
You
this?
can say it. You can say it on my channel. That's fine. I just don't like the F word and things like that. I don't use, but
Well, it's a POS. How's that?
yeah,
That's
I
fine.
gotcha. I understand.
Yeah, that's a. It's like, yeah. It and there's been a couple other people that I've cruised around and tried to read like chats and things and that have had problems, but not really a lot.
So
So
yeah, I like I said, I have somebody who I actually communicate with on Twitter and Facebook, and who's a creator who has a decent number of views. Who I'll talk to him and see what he has to say. If he
that,
has any insight or can yank on somebody's ear.
okay, if it's Jay, he told me just to can't.
No, I it's somebody else. So
Okay, all right. So
he does a lot of um budget product devices, but he also has a lot of connections like with some of these companies. Like he does a lot of Umidigi stuff, but
oh,
he also does a lot of ZT. I know that he's visited. He actually was at the ZTE booth. So
oh, cool. But they were
I'll
down in Texas, I think.
reach out to him and see if he has anything to say.
Okay. Yeah, I'd like to get a. Obviously, I need something I can take down to the Capitol and make videos with. I don't really want to tote around a camera, big camera.
Yeah, and there's no need for it anymore. In my opinion, in my opinion, there really is no need for it anymore, unless you're like trying to go to some crazy high end, like even with 4K, unless you're needing to change lenses and do like extremely high bitrate stuff, like higher than your phone can do, and add all this external audio, but you can still do that with a phone. So
Yeah.
unless you're wanting to swap lenses and do some things like, 4K red footage or 6K or 8K footage. You don't really need to go anything higher than. And
Yeah.
most everything I do is 1080p, so.
Oh. And I was trying to find something that would do like 4K videos without. Well, some of them will do it, but they only go for like 10 minutes.
Well, as far as I know, if you want to go longer than that, you, in all honesty, I would tell you, unless you have concerns over or issues with it just having an LCD screen, I would look at the iPhone 11
Oh, okay.
because you still get the same cameras that you get with the Pro and the Pro Max, but you're not going to pay the extra couple $100, you know?
Yeah, and that's the thing is
Um,
a little tight on the ready too.
so I would look at that, and then, because as far as I know, every other Android phone I've used has a limit of like 7 or 8 minutes at 4K. If you're doing 1080p, you'd be fine. So, with that, you can go basically anything.
Okay, I think a friend of mine used a. She had a Moto something, something. She did some videos of me last
Yeah,
year.
Motorola's got some pretty good. They've got some pretty good stuff going on. They're actually stepping up and kind of expanding out too. Like, they have uh the Moto Zoom, I think it's called, and that's got some interesting concepts. Like, you can hold the phone in portrait, but it will shoot landscapes. So, actually today when I went to do one of my videos, I started and I realized I gotta do that scene over again because I was holding my phone like you would normally hold it instead of holding it in landscape. So I had to shoot part of that video over again. But with theirs, they actually set it so you can hold it one way, but it'll come out the other. So that way, you have the ability to grip it in your hand a little bit better if you're holding it in portrait, but it will shoot um, and come out in landscape. So
Okay,
if you're doing stuff for YouTube, it kind of does that. And I'm surprised that these other companies that, charge $1,000 or more haven't said, "Oh, that's a good idea. Let's do that." It's a
which
software thing.
which phone was that?
I want to say it was the Motorola Zoom
Okay,
or the Action.
right.
Might be the Action. It's a newer one. I think it's the Action, actually, now that I think about it. So,
And that some of the import phones look interesting, but they don't have the right bands.
yeah, that's one of the things that's been concerning to me too, because I'll hear these where they'll be like, "Oh yeah, we use AT&T or T-Mobile and it's fine." And then I got the phone and it didn't work. I had that issue with like Xiaomi with the Mi A2 way back. I mean, I know they've gotten more bands now, but I had that issue where I had that phone and it didn't work on any carrier in my area because it didn't have the right bands for here. So it's one of those, you got to make sure it has the right for where you are going to be and your carrier and things like that. And um, I know that um, it was mentioned, Gadget Chat's mentioned earlier, that website. Were you on
Uh huh.
listening to them? Okay,
Yeah.
so yeah.
Um, and I go in and out of rural and city areas, so I'm jumping between towers a lot. And apparently, that's one of the reasons why the bands is important. Is that correct?
That makes sense to me because I have the same thing where I we travel a lot, and so we go from where we are, we go through some smaller towns and things like that. We're on the expressway as well, but then the smaller towns, we drop signal if you don't have all the bands. So
Right. And I'm on the road a lot, so it's kind of like, oops, I'll be listening to a live stream or something, and well, I guess I got to wait till I get back to something that's larger than 300 people.
What's funny to me though is that, and I still don't get this, is that you can be in cities that have a lot of people and still have really bad signal. Like some of these cities I'm going through have, like, I'm talking 10,000 people, but it just drops because there's things like hills that you're going up and down, and um, you're, I guess, far enough off track of the highway that the towers are just far enough or at just the right angle or blocked by trees or whatever they are that it doesn't help. And to me, that's concerning because I had a friend of mine when we were in high school. They went to Germany, and he was like 2 levels below ground and able to get cell signal over there.
So they have a different kind of band setup, though, right?
They're way more advanced than we are in a lot of these areas. I mean, I think China and Korea and some of these areas, you've been able to do things like you could be out at a diner, and they've had like gigabit and 10 gigabit internet there for years. Like I'm talking you're out at a diner with, 1,000 other people on the network, and you're still getting these signals that we wish for here. So,
So, and I'm curious to know how they're. I guess China probably they don't really care, but there are some health issues with some of that. It's like microwaving yourself.
um, well, it uses okay. So there was a discussion that the millimeter waves are at such a frequency that that might happen, but it's more the technology that they're using in the phone than the technology that are in the hotspots that could be concerning. And I would be more concerned about the heat that it creates with the battery in a device because, um, you know, from what I've seen with these reviews with 5G, um, if you're on that, maybe you'll be able to be on it for a couple hours and then you're going to have to go off or your device is going to get too hot or your battery's going to die. And it's like, so what good does that do me?
And then most men carry their phones in their front pockets.
Yeah, I know there was a rumor that that would cause impotence, um, even with current technology, but I think part of it is the shielding that they use. So, most of the 5G technology uses multiple antennas around the device. So that way, if you're blocking one, the other one's available. But I think that's also because of the shielding that it uses so that the antennas are what's bringing it in. And then the actual modem that's within the device is not exposing those frequencies to you as much. But you also have to remember that your phone's receiving those signals, and I would be more concerned about, like, if you were standing right next to, because um, the current 5G technology that, like, Verizon is using, it's almost more like a hotspot where you have to be within a certain distance of it, isn't as concerning to me as the high-powered where you can pick it up inside or you can be, it can be a couple miles away or work through buildings. I would think that signal would be like the idea of X-ray,
So
'cause
that's different than that's a different one than the 5G.
they're both 5G, but there's, sub-6, which is like millimeter wave, and then there's the technology that they're using now, um, so there's 2 different there it's kind of like how CDMA and GSM is with 4G. One works better outside, and then the other, if you have too many things between you, and you'll drop signal when you go inside.
Okay.
So, like Verizon and Sprint are CDMA.
Yeah.
Um, And then, oh, by the way, Happy New Year. At
Oh,
least,
oh, that's what's 25 seconds. Okay. I was going to say, what's 25 seconds?
yes, at least here it's so Happy New Year, everybody. If you're in the Eastern Standard Time Zone, if
Yeah.
you're in Central or Mountain or Western,
Yeah.
Happy New Year in an hour or 2 hours or 3 hours. If you're in Australia, I missed it.
Yeah. Happy New Year, Art Dog. Because I think he said there was only 25 seconds more to go, right?
Yeah, I just saw that. It's funny because fortunately I have YouTube set open to the side, but normally I just have StreamYard open and there's such a delay between the comments coming in to StreamYard from YouTube. Usually it's been like 30 seconds, but that one was pretty quick actually. Um, so, but yeah, so there's two different technologies with 5G, just like there was is with 4G, and it has to do with um, being able to travel kind of through objects versus not, because some of it, um, all it has to do is rain, and you won't get signal, or it will be highly diminished. And then the other technology, I think the kind that they're more concerned about is the stuff that permeates buildings, which would make sense.
Okay.
It's it's like the light from a flashlight versus a laser. They're both light, but they're at different frequencies and different powers and have um different ways they're created because obviously a laser is it's well, I mean quite literally, it's the light amplification by the stimulated emission of radiation. So it's little radiated particles that create that, where a light bulb in your house might put off some heat, but you're not getting exposed to the same thing. So I think that's the kind of the differences with the frequencies of the 5G. Some of them being closer together and other further apart.
So the 5G is like a microwave?
Um, Some some aspects were concerned with that, and I know that they don't really um they can't really say for sure, but obviously in order to pass like the FDA and the FCC and all that stuff, they would have to be approved and say, "Oh, we don't see any um harmful side effects of it." Cuz some of the studies that they did where they were saying, "Oh, it's gonna, give you cancer," things like that. It turned out that it was like, yeah, at lab tested versions, but not at what we're actually putting out into the public.
And there are some people that respond differently to different external factors. I have a patient that has a CPAP, and I have to wrap it in foil. And when she's done, I have to take it and unplug it totally. Otherwise, she can't even play her radio in the room because it disrupts it so badly, and
Wa-
it messes with her.
Wow.
Yeah.
I know that. Well, if you think about it though, on a daily basis, you're constantly exposed to radio waves. In your car, there's radio waves transmitting. Their cellular, Wi-Fi in your house. You're at McDonald's. I mean, I'd be more concerned about the sugar in the hamburgers than I would be the. But anyways, that's another story. Um,
Well, there's some people that are more sensitive to electrical uh, stimulus or uh, trying to grab for a word here that's um, not disruptive type of thing. Some people are really sensitive to that. Like some people walk under a street lamp and it causes it to go out. That that type of thing.
y- Yeah, I'm one of those people. So I actually had to adjust my microphone differently because earlier I had it positioned so it was not in front of me. Like, you see how it is now? I
Uh,
had it I had it off to the side, but I had to turn my gain up, and when I did that, I could actually hear the hissing.
okay.
So, I actually had to turn it down because I was like, "I'm not gonna be able to stream if I can hear this hissing the whole time." And as far as that, like, even electrical chargers, like, I can hear the electricity in the wall if
Uh-huh.
it's loaded to a certain point, and other people will be like, "What are you talking about?"
So
Um,
you're considered a canary.
so
Uh, They used to send the canaries down into the mines, and if the gases were, see, you couldn't smell them. And if the canary came back, when they pulled the canary out, if it was dead, they didn't go down the mine.
hmm, I had forgotten about that, but I guess I'm a canary. No, for me, actually, what's interesting is that the things will happen too when there's storms
Mhm.
that I will be able to feel. In particular, it's like in my left hand by my pinky, I'll feel like the static in the air way before the storm hits.
The lightning.
And
Or
then it'll be lightning like very, very, very short amount of time later. It's crazy to me that we're able to pick up on that. I've actually had times where I've had to take my ring and like my watch, anything electronic out of my pockets and anything metal off from me, including my glasses, because it's too like absorbent.
okay. Have you ever been
So
burned?
I haven't.
I mean, from the any type of conduction from the metal.
No, it hasn't been that that powerful, but um part of it is I don't wanna you kinda wanna stay away from anything political or religious, but for me, I'm an empath, so I believe that, like, as part of that, it's me reading other people's energy, so that's also where I believe where that kinda comes from is literally being sensitive to energy because we're all full of energy. That's our the neurons transmitting through our body, the
Like,
nerves, it's a circuit. So to me, I believe that we can, as long as we are finely tuned to it and listen to our bodies, we can pick up on other people's frequencies and interpret those, even from distances. So
yep.
some people might think I'm crazy and want to put me in a padded room, but that's that's what I believe. And even if you talk about the scientific idea of conservation of energy and mass, which, you can't create nor destroy energy, and same with mass, but you can do one to do the other. Atomic bombs, for example, you destroy mass and you create a huge amount of energy, or you destroy energy and you can create mass. I actually used that as an example when I was in like middle school with a teacher saying, um, I believe that explains God and science. Quite literally, anybody who's religious, you could say that the reason you can't see him is because he's pure energy, and that he could have quite literally created the universe by destroying part of himself as energy to create mass. And that would be both religion and science to explain the origin of the universe.
I don't think I never heard that.
So that was my theory. And
And you
I
gave
was
that to your
like 11
teacher.
years old.
Right, right. So what'd she say? Did she send a note home with you to your mom?
No, I don't think she said anything. I think she was more like, "What?"
But you're probably young enough too that they had to really watch what they said too in response to something like that.
Yeah, because you don't wanna get too like, you can't bring up religion in school, really, and you don't wanna get too but, I mean, they could have said, "Oh, that's a good that's a good thought," but it was just it was funny because it was my way of saying you can say that the Big Bang happened, but also say that this higher being created the universe, and both can happen, and both can be correct. So we have no way of knowing.
That's true, unless we see a physical manifestation in front, and he, she, God, whatever you want to, however you refer to it, is going to actually tell us because we can't see that.
That's true.
So it's by
It's
faith.
yeah. I mean, I have a theory. I have a theory that our existence in our afterlife is already there, and that we are almost in like a sleep-like state, and when we die, our energy is transferred from our earthly being into our after being. And so
I don't know if I comprehend that one the same.
basically, so scripturally it talks about getting new bodies
Uh-huh.
and like a new earth and new heaven. I believe that that already exists, and that the existence that we are in right now is kind of like if you were asleep in a dream, and when you die it's like you waking up and being in that place.
So there's a body that looks like us somewhere else.
What may not look like you, but it's that you're already prepared, and it's when you die that wakes up. Your soul is your energy, and it's transferred to your being in the afterlife, and then that kind of comes to light, if that makes sense.
Yeah, you watch too many movies. And you like science fiction movies?
I do actually. I was watching Avatar today, but actually I've had this theory for a long time though, that that science and religion both coincide in an equal existence, and they don't have to disprove each other.
Well, they say that science can prove the Bible.
So
So is the Avatar, is that the new one? It just came out?
um
Or
no, this is one that's been out for a long time. It's the guy, his twin brother was killed, and then he was in the military and he was in a wheelchair, and he gets in like this almost like a casket type thing, and it transfers and he connects like mentally, and like his nervous system connects with the being, and he literally controls it, and it stands up and moves, and he's not paralyzed because it's not his physical being. So
and he's the one that goes flying around with that gal Avatar.
yeah,
Okay, yeah, I did. I saw that one. I
it
was
was a long movie, but one of my favorites, and it's very interesting because one thing I've noticed is if you look into a lot of movies, there's actually a lot of background and subcontext connections in the ideas of the movies. So
subliminal messages. um, Av- it- I'm looking forward to seeing the next Avatar. Is that supposed to be out like within 6 months or?
I'm not sure actually. I can probably look that up. Um, um, let's see.
So is Art Dog from where Gigi's from? That same area?
I'm not sure. I can't remember where he's from because I know Gigi's from um
The Carolinas?
Carolinas, like, and Jones from Carolinas.
Okay.
But I don't know where Art Dog. I can't remember. I feel bad, but I have memory. It's weird because I can remember whole episodes of shows, like literally word for word, and whole like conversations that happen. but then there's certain things I can't remember. So Avatar 2 is set to come out in 2021, it says.
He's from Ohio. I didn't know if he was still on. So
He's
he's from Ohio.
he's one of those people.
Oh,
As someone from Michigan who's a Michigan State fan,
oh, so that is Ohio have a rival team?
almost next to U of M and Michigan State. Ohio, the Ohio State is like a huge, um, them and Indiana are like huge kind of rivalry.
So is it Indiana or like Purdue or Notre Dame or?
More so um, like Indiana itself.
Okay,
In
Indiana.
college basketball for me, I don't follow a lot of professional stuff. I mean, for me mainly, I like to watch college basketball and I like to watch like the Pro Bowls and football college wise, but I used to watch like every Michigan State game, but then I got kind of away from that.
So would that be like
Um,
Indiana State around Indianapolis?
yeah,
Okay.
because
And
I actually have a poster that was from when Michigan State won everything, and like Mateen Cleaves and I can't think of who else was all on the team, and I have a poster from that. My dad got it when he was working for the state, so it's pretty cool.
when I was younger, I got a scholarship to, I believe it was Indiana University in Indianapolis, music. But my father,
My
we were moving.
my grandpa went he went to let's see he went to Purdue for a short amount of time, so and then he came back and he went to Hope College, which is in Holland, Michigan,
Oh, I know
and
where that's at.
finished off there. So
They have the Tulip Festival. They still have the Tulip Festival in Holland, Michigan.
every year, as far as I know, I went there when I was little, but I haven't been back in a long time. Um, in a couple of the years, they've actually had to bring in tulips because it got so cold
Oh, kill
that they
me.
didn't have enough. Yeah, it was too cold when they were first supposed to start, so they were just starting to go into full bloom when the festival was supposed to like the week before it was supposed to start. So they brought in and like shipped in a bunch of them from overseas.
I was there when I was younger. Can't remember junior high or high school.
My dad went to the earlier talking about Vietnam and stuff like that. My dad went to the World's Fair in 72, I think it was.
Was that New York or was that Canada?
That was the one I want to say, if I remember correctly, that was the one when that there was a big deal that was made because there was a terrorist attack that occurred at like around the same time. So
Okay. I didn't go to that one. I went to the one in New York, and I thought I went to one in Canada, but that was that was a while back.
I think he went to the one in Canada.
Okay.
I want to say he went to one in Canada because he went to more than one, but I want to say he went to the one in New York and then he went to one in Canada because it would have been not too far from here because you could just go um right through Detroit and across the way and up Toronto, and so. But
Yeah, and I went to one that was no, that's up north of Michigan.
yeah,
Okay.
yep.
And the other one,
We're we have a lot of weird ways you can get to things through here. So
You can actually get through over by where Henry Ford Museum is, and then cross over into Windsor, Canada.
yep.
I, I took my kid there to see the museum, and then we went across and stayed in Windsor just for the
I've
heck of it.
I've never been to Canada. As far as I've never been out of the United States, unless you consider swimming in the Gulf of Mexico. That's technically the United States.
Yeah. So you you you've been about, eh?
Yeah.
Oh,
And I've never been to the UP. I've never been to Mackinac Island or the bridge. I've furthest north I've been in Michigan was up north of like Traverse City and north of there. So that's up by like
is,
it'd be like the pinky of Michigan.
is that up where that there was a lake there that was dirty? I can't remember. There was an island up there, Mac something.
Oh, we're talking about Mackinac Island.
Yeah, is that
That's more, it'd be north and east of there. So like if you were to look at your left hand palm down as the state of Michigan,
okay?
Traverse City would be like by the pinky. And then if you went kind of by the middle finger and to the right of it, that would be like Mackinac Island.
Okay. My aunt had they had a trailer out there, and there was we'd go snowmobiling in the winter. And then when we got done, and we were kids, but kids got to have cocoa with schnapps in it.
Our dog said he wanted to go to Windsor when he was in Detroit, but nobody wanted to go. Yeah. I know the casinos there are pretty good too, I've heard.
Oh, I did. They didn't have What do you mean, Windsor?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. I don't know if they. I didn't gamble back then, so I don't know if they were. How has it always been gambling?
I don't know because Detroit has a lot of casinos, but I think Windsor might be a newer thing.
Okay, I
Because
bet.
there's Windsor, and then there's like, because there's also the Windsor Hotel and Casino, like Windsor of Detroit, and then I think that came about because of them being so close together.
Okay, I bet they didn't have it back when I went there.
Probably not.
Because my son was, oh, I'm trying to remember, second grade maybe, or third grade. I don't really remember how old he was. No, he would have been older, maybe 11. So, because we stopped at the museum, he didn't seem to. He wasn't too interested in it. I still like watching them blow glass, and I I like airplanes and cars. So, but I don't think he liked it as much.
Well, I think it's been almost an hour and a half, an hour and 23 minutes and 45 seconds that I've been on here, and I got to get around and get some things and go to bed so I can get up in the morning. And we're going to the in-laws tomorrow,
Oh,
so
that'd be nice.
her mom's side always does their Christmas on New Year's Day. So it's like her aunts and uncles and cousins and stuff, and there's like 100 and some people there just for that side.
Wow.
So that will be fun. They do something in the summer too, so it's twice a year. Um, but hopefully the roads are nice, and I don't think it's snowing right now, so I don't have any more snow to clean.
Oh,
Hopefully.
well, since you have to get up, I don't have to do anything but plow through some more paperwork. So, And
Normally, I don't have to get up. That's the thing. Normally, I'm good to go. Like, I'll be on these streams watching that are later. I mean, eventually I do, but usually what I do is I stay up, and then if my son wakes up, I go handle him and then go back. So that way, if he's fussy at night, and then my wife gets up in the morning, so I get to catch some sleep, but I handle him at night. So
that's nice. Is he restless at night?
not so much. Sometimes when he's had issues with, like when he was teething and things like that, but he's almost 19 months old now, so that's kind of gone away for now. And lately, we think he has dairy issues because both my wife and I are lactose intolerant, so we
Yeah.
got some lactated milk and we've been trying him on that, and that seems to be helping. And sometimes we've had to give him Tylenol and stuff because he gets fussy, irritated stomach or whatever. But um, sometimes he just has those, and then because we live with my parents, they come home and then they've been going to my sister's to help her because her husband gets on call quite often, so they'll be there to watch her little one. Um,
That's nice.
so her little one was born a week after my son's first birthday. So, my son was born June 6th last year. Well, no, actually 2 years ago because it's a new year now. Um, I had to just think about that. 2018, June 6th. And her son was born June 13th, 2019. I just had to think about that because it's technically 2020 here now. So,
Yeah, a 6'6" baby.
yes. And he was in room, and we got to choose which room to go into. And I chose room 406, but we went in on the 4th. She was in labor for 29 hours.
Ugh.
So we went in the morning of the 4th, and then he was born on the 6th. And I think that's funny because we went on the 4th, born on the 6th. Room number was 406. So it wasn't intentional for it to be 6666
Yeah.
and room 6, but because I was actually we were hoping he'd be born on the 5th because that my brother's anniversary um June 5th, so we thought it would have been cool for him to be born on their anniversary.
So does he act like a Gemini?
I don't really know. What would that be?
My son's a Gemini. So let's just say he's a lot different than I am. I'm kind of a nose to the grindstone, but he is spur of the moment, and so we're a little different. And I think that tends to go more with the Gemini. So
He's very like if things are off schedule and he knows that something's supposed to be done at a certain time or whatever, it throws him off. And like when my parents are home, my dad goes to make coffee, and if my son doesn't get to like watch him and kind of help him,
uh,
he'll get fussy because that's just kind of their tradition, their thing when he's
okay.
here.
So
And like when I sit down, he'll hand me the TV remotes. So he's very like, you have to hold on to these or you have to put these up because they're too temptational to me. And like he knows certain things. Or like if I talk about we're gonna go for a walk,
he
he'll
has that
get
from you.
my boots
He has that from you.
or my shoes. And that's very like,
That's not about Gemini. That's a soul spirit type of thing.
yeah. He's very super smart. Like people think he's like 3 or 4 years old. Um
Well, I'm only
and
2
even it's
inches tall, but I'm 3 or 4.
so
Sorry, because he's not. He's 18 months, 19 months old, but they think he's 3 or 4. So it's like, how do they think about the size difference?
Uh, he's 32 inches tall and weighs 32 pounds, so he's pretty good size.
How old are you? How tall are you?
5'11",
Oh, okay. So
almost 6 foot. I'm just shy underneath.
I always see you sitting, so it's like I have nothing but
I'm not really that tall though. Like,
you're about 2 inches taller than the average man.
yep, my dad's 5'9", so
And that's about
five
the
eight, 5'9".
and your wife's probably tall.
She is. She's the same height as I am.
Okay. My grandson's mother is taller than my son.
So I don't know, since my wife was adopted. She and two of her siblings were adopted, and so I don't really know other than from like some pictures that I've seen. Um, and then I don't know, like, that's her mom that I've seen, who looks kind of like a blend between her and her sister. Um, but I haven't seen anything of her dad's, and her mom was pretty short, like 5'2". So
That is short.
her
I,
dad must have been somewhat tall. If she's tall, there's got to be some height genetics in there somewhere. But
it sounds like you have a tight, close family, and that's nice. I mean, especially if you didn't, you wouldn't have the situation. This you're blessed right now, and a lot of families aren't that tight that they'd be able to do that.
it's true. I'm
Yeah.
very appreciative of things, and you know, so because situations changed for me, unfortunately. So I'm very fortunate that my parents, at their house. I don't wasn't expecting to be here when I'm almost 30 years old, but I probably will still be here, unless situations miraculously change in the next few months. But
But as long as you have a plan, that's the place to start. If
and
it
I
doesn't,
do, and I've had a lot of compliments and a lot of people saying, "Hey, you can do it. I know you can do it. I know you'll get there." Um, Amazing things to people saying, "Hey, I know you'll hit that 1,000 marker," because that's my goal. Because then I get monetized. So then every video I do, every stream I do, um, you know, can make money. Things like super chats, you can't do those until you hit that, you know, subscriber and hour viewpoint and things like that. And but what's been amazing to me is just the opportunities I've been given already. Like, I did a stream a few weeks ago where I did a fundraiser for a friend of mine who was made homeless, and I got a couple donations. It was $70 between the two, and to me that's huge.
yeah, yeah.
Like,
They're for people that don't know you.
that at the time, that was basically 50 cents for every subscriber I had. Like, and I was able to help somebody because I didn't have the money to help him. So I reach out and I say, "Hey, this is what's going on," and people just go, "Hey, I was homeless," or, "I understand. I want to help you," and they sent it to my PayPal. That's huge trusting too, because for them to say, "Hey, I trust that you're not lying," or whatever, is huge. But I've always been honest with people. That's what I hope people get out of my channel, and I hope um I really want to hit that goal, and I'm working on it. But and there, I know there's people that have had channels for like 2 years and not broke 100 subscribers. So I mean, I'm just happy to be at um 166. I hit today. I went up about 10% in the last week, and people are talking about losing subscribers and things like that. So
Now, was it? Do I have 12 or 21? I can't
you said
remember.
21 earlier.
Okay, yeah, I knew it was a two and a one. So, and and I don't have a video, so that's
Well, that happens is the connection though that you make with people is huge. I mean, I'm pretty sure if LB were to create a channel, he'd probably hit 10,000 like that because so many people that see him in other streams.
Oh yeah,
I mean, he'd be up there pretty quick. So,
I didn't even realize that he didn't have a channel. I guess if you have a YouTube account, you have a channel in a way. Uh,
sort of, yeah, because I mean, but you don't have to like authenticate it or whatever. You don't have to, go in and actually add information or create anything, and you can set everything to private so nobody would,
oh,
really know.
I'll have to maybe figure out a way to, because I've got some other places that I communicate with. Let's just say I might not be the most popular person. I challenge them.
Well,
Um,
I popped up something here, and I gotta say thank you, Savage Scientist. I
there you
surely
go.
hope. I mean, so the funny thing is, my first video was like 10 months ago, almost 11 months ago. But then I took a break in there. So I've really been only doing this for maybe the last 6 to 7 months. Because I took a break, I came back like 4 months later, and then I did a video, and then I didn't do anything for like a month. So it's been like 6 months that I've been doing like a stream or a video. At least every week I've been doing a stream or a video or two and getting into it and been more motivated. And um there were some situations that happened between me and other people, and those things got fixed, and those relationships are getting repaired and things like that with other creators and things like that. And so it's been almost an overwhelming thing, and I feel like I don't think it's the case, but it's the way I am. I feel like um
You can get under people's skin.
uh-huh,
Yeah. Uh-huh.
but I also feel like I haven't put in as much work as I have. That's the weird thing. Like, I feel like I could do way more than I do. And I bet, and there are a lot of people that are the opposite, that are like, I feel like I put in way more and I should have gotten. But for me, I'm like, I don't do this. Like, there are people that do this 40 hours a week, and I do it when I can. But to me, that's awesome. That shows that the people that are here for me no matter what. It doesn't matter if I did one video this week or if it's been 2 weeks. And like Art Dog has been here since I got started, I do believe. He was like here way back, like way, way back. And Savage Scientist, I got connected with him in the last well, he's been on a lot of streams, but I got kind of connected with him and on Twitter and stuff in like the last month or so. And um Apple Monster wasn't on today because he's spending time with family, and he sent me a message saying, "Hey, are you gonna upload this so I can catch it tomorrow?" And things like that have been incredible to me. And to end the year like that is awesome. Um, and even when I felt like, oh, I'm slowly getting one viewer at a time towards, or one subscriber at a time towards my goal, but that's one subscriber at a time. When I hit 100 was amazing, and then 150 came like that, and then it kind of slowed down. But then all of a sudden, it was um it was like I got 15 views within a week, or 15 subscribers within a week. And let's see, what am I at tonight? As of right now, I have 19,916 views and 166 subscribers. So that's more than 100 views per subscriber equivalent. It's like, so for me, these small goals I don't really focus on them anymore. I focus more on building my channel, like adding things in there. Finally got my Amazon affiliate link thing set up. Um, um, Building this other channel, like I talked about, to be able to um, offload my artistic perspective to something separate, but also still have it here, but more of the background of creating it here in the deck aspect, and then the final output on another channel. So that way, um, I use my schooling in both because obviously lighting is important. So I've been getting better at that and use that for this channel, but also for the other and to draw people to both. So I'm hoping anybody who listens to this, I talked about it early on, if you'll go, yes, I'm doing a little spiel here, but if you go check out Michael Pepper Photography, my YouTube, it's linked in the description to this stream. Also, my Twitter for that, which is MP Photography 20, because they only let you have 15 characters. And also, I have Facebook pages for both of those, and on there, I interact with people. So if you don't have a Twitter or you wanna have a discussion, there's other people that don't follow me on Twitter because they don't have one, or they're part of another community that I connected with that are over there. And, also my photography Michael Pepper Photography Facebook page, I post photos all the time on there. My Instagram is just my photography stuff. I don't have a separate tech one. Um, so getting the grind is a huge thing, and I know a lot of people have talked about the importance of that. And so my goals are um, to put work into this, but also into the other channel, and to connect with as many people as I possibly can, and to motivate people, even though I don't have a huge channel, to be the voice and the motivation for people who have bigger channels than I do and are struggling,
Uh-huh.
or people who just want to get started. I mean, I posted a video after Painfully Honest Tech had his situation, and I said, thank you for doing what you did. And I did this video literally not caring if it got more than one view. And that one view could have been him, and that would be it, because all I wanted to do was say, "Hey, I understand your circumstances, and I may be a smaller person, but I just want you to know how much that meant to me for you to acknowledge it." So I'm hoping that my channel does that for other people as well. So, and with that note, thank you for hopping on and lending your voice and making it so it's not just me here trying to think, because sometimes that's my struggle, and I've gotten better and better at kind of trying to have articles and have things I can bring up on the screen and have things that I talk about, but sometimes you just run out of things, and you realize 5 minutes in, you went through everything, and you're sitting there trying to say, "I need this to at least be 20 minutes."
Oh,
So
I've noticed that most of the videos on YouTube tend to be at least 10 minutes, and then they go on from there. Once in a while, you'll see the 3 and 4 minute ones and things like that. But why is there a magic thing about 10 minutes?
So if your videos are too long, it's hard to retain enough minutes for that video and people will leave. And if you don't catch and also the difficulty, like for example, with this stream is if somebody doesn't watch the whole thing, maybe what they actually want to know is further in.
Yeah.
So having shorter videos means if somebody doesn't see it within a couple of minutes, maybe it's in another video. And if they watch 10 minutes, it's only 10 minutes that they lost. And if it's too short, maybe they didn't get enough information.
Okay. So a 10 minute is fairly decent time for just an average video that you're not going to live stream.
Yeah, like, to me, that I mean, and that's even long, like, depending on what you're talking about, though, that it kind of varies, like, if you're given a tutorial or instruction video, 10 minutes, you could get there within nothing, but, like, if you're just covering one particular subject, 10 minutes can be hard to get to, like, I did a couple videos the other day on my channel here that were, like, showing my setup and answering the question of, like, can I use my Bluetooth earbuds as a wireless microphone with my iPhone with the native app, or do I have to do I have to use another app? And, um, those videos were really short, only a few minutes, but that's all they can be, there isn't too much to it. It's kind of here's a demonstration of with them in, here's a demonstration with them out. Does it sound the same? Is the audio piping through? And the answer is in the video. Um, and figuring out um, things like key phrases to use in the title and tags to give has been what I've been trying to figure out. And the weirdest thing to me is the videos that I'm putting more work into are the ones that get lower views, and I'm trying to figure out why that is. But to me, I don't care because I like those videos. I liked what I did, but it is important to get views. Obviously, I wanna get those out there. But what's weird to me is, like, I have videos that are the ones that are from when I first started, and I just shot on my phone, and I didn't do hardly any editing, and there was all this background noise, and the audio was awful, and the video was not that, but those are the ones that have, like, 2,500 views, and then my recent stuff, I'm lucky if I get, like, 20 views. So I'm trying to figure out, what happened. I have a theory, but, that's a long discussion, so anyways, it is going on past quarter to 1 in the morning here, so, thank you everybody for hopping on and joining me. I know at one point I had, I think, 7 people watching. It's at
Oh
4
wow!
right now. So thank you everybody. Thank you, Dr. Donna. Anytime I'm on, anytime you wanna join, feel free.
Thank
It's
you for
been great.
having me.
And happy new year. I'm gonna drop you off. I'm gonna do my closing thing and say goodbye to everybody. And so,
Sounds good. Thank you very much. Have a
yep,
great evening. Bye bye.
you too. Bye. So that has been my um, end of 2019, beginning of 2020 New Year's Eve video. Some awesome discussion and a guest who very rarely lends her voice or shows her face. Thank you, everybody, and have a happy new year. And as I always end all my videos, God bless. Please like, comment, subscribe. Check out my links to my social medias and my other channel. And please feel free to share this on Twitter with everybody. And I will actually be posting this on Twitter. So if you're there on Twitter, please retweet. And thank you, and God bless.